What's up guys, Tommy here, bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle against someone called MyNameSeth. Now as you can probably tell from the teams there, this is going to be a bit of a stally match, but an interesting one nonetheless. He leads off with Ampharos, and I lead off with Gothitelle. Now I've looked up Ampharos before, and I know that the strongest thing he has to hit me with is probably the Signal Beam. But even that shouldn't kill me, given that it's not stabbed, and it's not a particularly high base power move, so I go straight for a Mirror Coat, assuming I can live, hoping I can live. And luckily I do, so I managed to take out this guy in one fell swoop. So that was a nice little kill there for Gothitelle. And the reason I sent this out to start with, instead of, my Choice Scarfer or whatever, was because I figured he might lead off with either Chinchino or Rampardos, and, it seemed a safe bet because it's my dedicated physical wall, but in any case, I don't want to take a tail slap from this guy from that kind of range of health, so I go to Probo-pass, who can just wall anything this thing has to throw at me, assuming he doesn't have the Wake Up slap. Which I was kind of fearing, to be fair, although I figure he is choice banded because he goes and switches out there, so in any case, I go for a Stealth Rock here as he brings in his Rampardos. I don't get back up to my Sturdy, unfortunately, so I don't really feel safe staying in. So I'm afraid Gothitelle's got to be death fodder here. A bit unfortunate, and had I been a bit more brave, I guess I could have gone to Fearow or Chatot to maybe set up or U-turn out or whatever, but I didn't really feel like risking it. Had he gone for the Brick Break or the Fire Punch or anything like that, it would have probably killed them in one hit regardless, so I didn't want to risk losing one of those guys. So Gothitelle seemed like the safe sacrifice. But anyways, I bring in Floatzel here, go straight for a Choice Banded Waterfall because nothing particularly wants to take it on his team, but he does make the good play and goes into his defensive wall, the Wheezing, and goes straight for a sub. Now I wasn't really sure what to expect on this guy. I kind of predicted him to go straight for the Will-O-Wisp, in which case Chatot would have been a pretty good switch in because he doesn't really mind the burn. But he actually goes for the substitute here. Now, this is actually better for me because had he gone for the Will-O-Wisp, I would have been taking burn damage still, and either way, I was just going to Encore him into something. But now that I have actually burned him, I can just switch out into my Fearow here, predicting his switch to Rampardos, and my plan was just to U-turn out of there because the Rampardos could have actually outspared the whole of my team except the Fearow, so I figured if I U-turn out of there, go to Probo-pass, I should be pretty safe, but really I was just wary of that Rampardos the whole time I was switching in and out. But anyways, I go for an Encore here. I know the Encore was really obvious on my part, but I stay in and go for it anyway just because I thought that he would predict me not to go for the Encore because it was too obvious, and therefore he'd stay in and preserve his sub, but I made a mistake, I got to pay the price, so result of that is I have to sacrifice something, so Shiftry, you're looking like the best candidate right now. I'm sorry. You're a good Pokemon, I really want to get a good game with you at some point. But at this point, you've got to make way for the more important ones like Fearow and Chatot. So in any case, I U-turn out here, do a bit of damage to the Rampardos, and he is Choice Scarfed, so I can just go straight back into my Probo-pass, safe from the Earthquake, and just take the Stone Edge like a beast. Probo-pass is pretty underrated, I'm surprised it's still in the NU tier, but I guess what really lets it down is the quad weakness to ground and fighting, but in comes Swellow. I go for a Toxic, doesn't really make any difference since that guy probably had the Toxic Orb anyway. And here I have to make a pretty risky prediction. I can't really touch this Swellow, and he can't really touch me, so I figure he's probably going to U-turn out. So I go for the Earth Power, and had he stayed in, or Murkrow came in, or Wheezing, that would have looked pretty stupid on my part. But luckily, I do make the right play here. And in comes Rampardos, just below half health. I figure I should be able to take him out from that kind of range. And luckily I do, because otherwise that Rampardos would have torn a big hole in my team. I'd have probably had to sacrifice something else. But anyways, down goes Rampardos, so that is a big threat out of the way. And now Fake here is looking pretty strong. In comes Murkrow, and my initial thought was that he'd go for a substitute and then either Perish Song or Roost or something along those lines. But he actually goes for a Confuser here, so it turns out this is a Parafusion set. Got the Confuser in the T-Wave. And I think he has two attacking moves as well, the Sucker Punch and the Brave Bird. Pretty interesting set actually. Had it been me personally, I would have swapped out the Sucker Punch for the Roost, but whatever works for him. Anyways, he goes for the Confuse right here and confuses my Floatzel. My plan here was basically to use Switcheroo and give him the Choice Band, which would pretty much cripple this thing to a certain extent. Doesn't end up working out for me because of the infamous Parafusion combo, so I'm not able to attack whatsoever, and even from above half health, this thing still manages to kill me with a Brave Bird. That's quite surprising. Maybe that thing has some attack EVs in it, although I guess Floatzel's defense really isn't the best, so hey, can't really complain. But anyways, I bring in Probo-pass here. Now that I've seen his whole set, I know that he can't really do anything to Probo-pass. So I decide to pull a double switch here, thinking that he'd probably want to switch out, so I wanted to get some kind of scouting initiative going with the U-turn and stuff. But he actually goes for a Confuse right here, so I have to switch out. I can't really afford to let either my Fearow or my Chatot get paralyzed with a T-Wave, because those are the only two really quick Pokemon I have at the moment, so I can't really afford to lose them. But I bring up Probo-pass again, take the paralysis. Not going to matter all that much. I think I do get fully paralyzed a couple of times, but like then when he over-predicts and predicts me to go into Fearow or something. But yeah, there are a couple of times when the full paralysis mattered, but in general, Probo-pass doesn't really mind being paralyzed too much. But anyways, he goes for the Confuse right here. I'm aiming to get a Toxic off on this guy, and I finally do hit it here. I don't really know why I didn't go for it before. I guess I predicted a switch out to Weezing or something, but now that I have a Toxic on this guy, he's got a countdown on him. He can't really stay in there for too long, and I know that nothing he can do will really hurt Probo-pass. I mean, a Brave Bird does what? I can't do the maths that quickly, but 26 is that? Yeah, 26 bits of health. So almost all of it gets recovered by leftovers, so he's not going to be doing all that much to my Probo-pass here, especially given that he has Sucker Punch as his other attack. So he goes into Weezing here, knowing that I can't really touch him whatsoever. My set is Stealth Rock, Earth Power, Toxic, and Pain Split, so I literally can't touch this Weezing. So I've got to switch out here. I go into my Chatot here. If he went for the sub, I could Encore him into it, but I figured even if he goes for some kind of attack, I should be able to live one of them. Debatable whether I could have lived a Thunderbolt, but yeah, I reckon I might have still done. But anyways, I go for a Hyper Voice here, takes this guy out in one go. I was quite surprised by that actually, although I guess I am Life Orb, but anyways, in comes Chinchino. I was still fearing the Wake Up Slap at this point, so I didn't want to go into my Probo-pass. I couldn't afford to lose that guy, so I figured the safer bet was just to let Chatot die. But anyways, I bring in Probo-pass here, knowing that he's locked into it. I think he's Choice Banded, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's got two Scarfers, but yeah, I go straight for the... I think I went for the Earth Power here just to get some extra damage on this guy. But unfortunately, I do get fully paralyzed here. And now he goes into his Murkrow once again. It is Toxic, so I can just literally just stay in here and wait it out. And if he decides to keep switching between his Swellow and his Murkrow, he's going to be taking Stealth Rock damage every time. And given that neither of them have Roost, I think it's pretty good for me in this situation. And you'll see in a second, he's just letting his Murkrow die off so that he can safely bring in his Chinchino. It's not the most favourable matchup for me, but I can do some decent damage with the Earth Power as long as I don't get paralysed every time. Get back up to my Sturdy, fortunately, which is why I felt safe staying in on this next turn when he does bring it in. I kind of suspected he'd be kind of similar to my Chinchino set, which is like Bullet Seed, U-turn, Tail Slap, and Wake Up Slap, which works pretty well with Technician, but I guess he doesn't have it since he goes for the Bullet Seed. But that is still doing an uncomfortably large amount to my Beast of a Wall Probo-pass, which I think is like a mixed wall at the moment. I have EVs spread across defense and special defense. I don't know if I even have EVs in HP. I honestly don't remember its base HP stat, but it would kind of make sense that I don't, given that I have the Pain Split, so, you know, Pain Split would be more effective if I have less health, if that makes sense. But in any case, I go for an Earth Power on the first turn, and then I try and go for a Pain Split to get some health back and to damage this guy, because I really didn't mind if Probo-pass died or not. I really just wanted a little bit more damage so that Fearow was safe to come in and just sweep the rest of his team, hopefully. But I have to just hope that Drill Peck kills this guy. I do get a crit on him there, not sure if it mattered or not, but down goes the Chinchino, and all he has left is a Swellow, which will be an easy kill for Scarf Fearow. So that was a great game, MyNameSeth. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.